all for having me. I am such a fan of everything that CCA stands for, and especially for today's event, all around relationships and managing conflict. I'm thrilled to be talking about how to navigate these difficult conversations that often arise when we think about conflict. So before we dive into the nitty-gritty about how to get through these difficult dialogues, I thought I would start off by sharing a little bit about myself. And Olivia gave such a beautiful intro, but I wanted to start off by sharing that I am a unifier. I feel like I was put on this earth to bring people together across differences to have difficult conversations. And the way that I do this is through my platform, The Conversationalist. And before we dive in, I thought I would go way back to where it started, because so much of why I created this platform relates back to something I experienced growing up. And for most of my childhood, growing up in the Midwest in America, in Wichita, Kansas, led me to feel like I did not have a voice. And throughout this conversation today, if you relate to anything I'm sharing, or if you have any tips and tricks of your own, please share them as well. I want this to be a conversation, and I hope that you all walk away today with some better understanding of who you are as it pertains to navigating these conversations. So for myself, growing up, feeling like I didn't have a voice, this really stemmed from being the only Jewish student in my entire school. And all my life growing up, I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to fit in, but no matter how hard I tried, I felt like Pam here in the office. I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb, and no matter how hard I tried to fit in, I was always coined as the Jewish kid. And this feeling around my identity led me to feel shame around who I was, and that shame led me to feel voiceless. And because of that, I had no spaces to go to truly connect with other people who were like me. Being the only Jewish student afforded me so many incredible opportunities to learn from others, but I was craving that community to feel like I wasn't alone. And so because of this shame that I felt around my identity, I wanted to put myself out there in a way that could potentially erase that label. So I was the kid who always ran for student body president. I auditioned for the lead in the musical, and I was always going after these official titles and positions to make me feel like I did have a voice, and that I had that validation that would afford me the platform of being a leader. And what I quickly thought growing up is that this equation really laddered up to what it meant to be a leader. I needed to be class president. I needed to be the lead in the musical. I needed that award in order to feel like I had a voice. And I quickly learned, and I'm so grateful for it, that that was quite the opposite. And that every single person out there, not just me, but every young person has a unique voice just by nature of who they are. And because I learned this early on in my life, I decided to completely shift my way of thinking, and I decided to do something about it so that I could create a place for no other young person to feel the way that I felt growing up. And so because of this, I realized that I could in fact use my voice to make a difference in the world. And that led me on a path from going from the Midwest all the way to the East Coast for college. And once I arrived at the University of Pennsylvania, I was able to fit in, and I found other Jewish students who were like me. I was so excited to finally belong, and I had a light bulb moment. I actually realized that what I had been doing in college of surrounding myself with other Jewish students was exactly what every other person on campus was doing with their respective identity groups. And I had this moment where I realized that I had in fact been taking for granted the experiences that I had growing up in Wichita, where I was surrounded by people of all walks of life, of all different personalities and opinions and perspectives. And because of this, I wanted to do something to actually help everyone realize that and break outside of those groups that keep us siloed from one another. So before I knew it, I founded my platform today, which is The Conversationalist. And as Olivia mentioned, we are a global, nonpartisan educational platform that empowers Gen Z to have conversations conversations that matter. And we do this in a variety of different ways, and our Gen Z community is at the forefront of the movement we're creating to bring people together one conversation at a time. In our community, we have a platform where every single day, 365 days a year, 24/7, we have young people starting these conversations and initiating them amongst each other in our community app called Geneva. So people are talking in there about every topic ranging from mental health to pop culture to politics, the environment, and the list goes on and on. And creating that space for other young people to be connected with one another has, in a way, been able to satisfy that inner child of mine of creating a space for young people to actually connect with people who are like them, but even more importantly, who are unlike them. And in addition to our community platform, we just launched the first Gen Z talk show called POVs. And POVs stands for Points of View with a Z for Gen Z. And so a lot of my expertise in navigating these difficult conversations stems from the work that I do both in our conversationalist community and on screen on our talk show POVs.